Preparing to live stream the meeting. Setting up the meeting. Sorry, guys. It's possible to use presentation mode, but I'm going to be moving up and down different slides. So I like to use this mode, please. I hope that's okay. All right. So we are live on YouTube as well. All righty. Okay. So I'm back here to Zoom and then back to my slide. Okay. I'm assuming everybody can still see my screen. Can you still see my screen? Yes, fantastic. So I'm just going through the house rules. So house rules, like I said again, when you come in, just mute your mic, use the chat. I want us to stay engaged because if it's just me talking at you, you're not really going to learn much. But I really appreciate if you can stay engaged with us, ask me questions. If you have other questions that you think I can't answer, feel free to put in the chat box. There are people, if you have any technical issues, I have Ngozi on there, I have Grace, there's Precious, and there's Joy who are happy to help. So you can send them a direct message. So there's Ngozi, Grace, and Joy and Precious, who are happy to help you on this call. Okay. So those are just some of the house rules. I like to go through them before we kickstart. So let me, I'll just go talk about myself. Yes, I'm Bernadette Olatunbosi. Like I said, most of my clients call me Coach B. I love that name. I love how it just started. People just started calling me Coach B, and I'm owning that name. So yeah, if you walk past me, feel free to call me Coach B. So now I've worked quite a few parts. I must be honest with you. I've done from who wants to hear my story? So I started my first degree was in performing arts. So I have a performing arts degree, but I never really well, I did use it. From performing arts, I went straight into working in education. And from education, I went on to work consulting, educational consulting, and then I did start my dance, will I say dance or performing arts company from a very young age, where I was bringing in professional dancers to private schools in Lagos to give them to give their primary and secondary school students the right experience of performing arts. It wasn't just basic. You just go for a school presentation and it's just basic. No. So I did that from a very young age. So apart from that, educational consulting by the side as well. I moved to England and then I started working within the banking system. I became a mortgage advisor. I wanted more. I just wanted more. And then, I went into PMO, became a PMO analyst, then became a senior PMO analyst, then became a manager, and now I'm still a PMO manager. So like I said, and I've run quite a few number of businesses by the side. So all the things I'm just telling you is very, very surface level. Every time I've always worked, always had a business by the side. It could be making handbags, it could be doing so many different things, it could be making food. I've done it all. So if you want to talk to me about business or you want to talk to me about career, I've worn both hats, okay? And so now I work in a really good IT company. It's a consulting firm and it's one of the top ones in the world. I don't like to mention it for obvious reasons. But I also am very passionate about helping people because over the years, I've had a lot of people come to me who moved to the UK and say, Bernadette, can you just have a look at my CV? Can you just have a look at my LinkedIn? Can you just have a look at this? I'm having an interview. Can you just help me? I end up helping people and then I end up helping their friends. And then I realized I'm helping a lot of people's friends. I'm doing all of this for free. Might as well start a business. And this is where it started out from. So one of my superpowers is teaching. I've been told that. My husband says I like to break things down. And then sometimes he's like, but I already understand. I'm like, no, 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 I really want you to understand. So I really love teaching. And so I enjoy breaking things down. But as I said to you, I've talked about my story about where I'm coming from. Currently, I'll just say a couple of years ago, right? I realized that I was really doing a lot of things well. My career was moving smoothly, but I was just waiting for that extra push. I was looking for that extra push. So what did I do? I realized as well, just from I'm one of those people that I believe a problem shared is half solved. So I don't keep my mouth shut. If I have a problem, I ask around if there's anybody who can help. So I then spoke to a few people who said to me, I think Bernadette, what you're missing is you need a coach. And I was like, what's that? People pay people to talk now. Can't be serious. Anyways, I invested in a coach, I invested in and I never looked back. So I have, as I'm talking to you now, I have two different coaches for myself. I have a business coach, I have a career coach, I have mentors, I have sponsors, I have different things for different reasons. And I'll reason why I'm saying this, why it's really essential, is that I realize that most times, a lot of us tend to do things the way we've been doing them and we expect a different result. But sometimes all it just takes is for somebody else to just give a bird eye view and tell you you're not doing. Have you tried this? Have you tried this? And from a very objective perspective, they have nothing to lose or gain from telling you what they're telling you. So just listening to them, sometimes just bouncing ideas off them really does make the difference. It made a difference for me. And what does that then help me is that I'm now very, very able to do same for many more people. Just sitting down there and talking through some of their issues, either career or business. Okay. Now, moving on about myself. I don't really like talking about myself, but even though I'm a career coach and I should be talking about myself, but yeah, story for another day. Now, one of the things I would like to say is that I want to be sure that you're in the right place. Okay. So if this is, I just want to qualify you. I want to say, if to just know if it's time to log off this call. So let's find out if this is really for you. So are you actively looking for a role, but you're struggling to get noticed? Are you transitioning into a new industry and you're unsure of how to position yourself? So do you know networking is important, but you don't really know where to start from and how to build it up? You're in the right place. So do you have skills and experiences, but your application doesn't just get noticed? Then you're in the right place. Does anybody fit into any of these categories that I've just mentioned? If you have, I'd like to see in the chat box that people are saying yes. Coach B, so anybody's in the chat saying to me that do they fit into any of this? If you feel like, you know what, I'm definitely in the right place, then I'm happy to continue. Yes. Story of my life. Oh, God bless you. All right. We hopefully hope we change that for you soon. That's the aim. The aim is to get this. Let this be the last time that you ever have to do this. Okay. So moving on, one of the things that I will say to you is that at the end of this, I want you to be equipped. I'm going to give you free tools, and I'm going to give you some strategies, and I'm going to give you insight to confidently secure the role that you deserve. Another thing that I will be sharing at the end of this is I will be sharing with you a digital product, very, very nicely put together, that my team has put together, and an opportunity to also attend a masterclass. So it's a 2-day masterclass. It's coming up in March. And so when we're done talking, I just want you to understand that even though I'm going to teach you a few things, I will open that option up for you to either get our digital product and also attend our masterclass coming up. All right. So moving on. So my goal today is to help you create a very strong personal brand. Because one thing you should understand is that when you are applying for a job, right, nobody knows you. That's my favorite line. I tell this to all my clients. I tell this to anybody who works with me. Nobody knows you until you introduce yourself. Some of you probably didn't even know I existed until maybe this webinar came on your timeline or somebody sent it or you saw it on somebody's WhatsApp status and you're like, what are these people about? Let me click on it. So what does that mean to you? Is that whenever you show up somewhere, your personal brand, right, is how you position yourself. And that's how professionals will see you. So for you to show up as, a professional in anything, you need to make sure that you are showing up as your true authentic self and the self that is needed for that, for whatever you're going for, the position that you're going for. So I want you to, by the end of this, I want you to really understand how to position yourself really good. That's obviously your personal brand. Then I want you to also discover the key elements that make your CV stand out and get you shortlisted. Really essential because your CV is that first introduction to you in a room that you're not in. So if it's not doing if it's not doing you right, it means it's not selling you. And we need to end that. Okay. Another thing that I really would like us to talk about is how to master strategies to connect you with the right people. There's so many different hidden job markets, and there's so many hidden opportunities that we're not talking about enough. All right. And I'll teach you how to build relationships, maybe not all on this call, but just so you understand, give you like a good glimpse of it, of how to build relationships, how to keep those open doors. And then, we have a live person coming in and telling you how she did literally everything that I'm talking about today and how she's landed really, really nice roles. So I know I've asked before, but I hope you guys are still following and I haven't bored you to sleep. One of the things that I would say you need to first step out or stand out of in the entire crowd. Remember, it's a crazy market right now. There's so many people saying the same thing. There's so many people who can do what you do. If you didn't know that, wake up call. What you can do very well, what am I going to say now? What Olubusola can do, there are 1,000, 1,000,000 and one other people out there who can do it. But the very first thing that you need to do is you need to stand out in that crowd. So in the 1,000 or 1,000,000 people who can do what I do, I need to stand out to the person who's having a conversation with me. Okay? That's the most important thing. Now, I just put this here because I want to believe that nobody's CV looks like this in this call. Please, if your CV looks like this, guys, just delete my number if you have it. Yeah, I just want to believe that nobody's CV looks like this because if it does, then we really, really do have a problem. We do really, really have a problem. So this guy, yes, Daniel wants us to see his face, but we don't really, that's not what employers are looking for. They're not looking to see your face. They don't want to know who you are. Olubusola, can you please switch off your camera? If that's okay, please. Thank you. Would really appreciate yeah, thank you. So what was I saying? I want you to understand that your CV should not be looking like this. And if it does, there's a problem, a very big one. So there's something I've created. I've created something called the 35-point framework, right? It's a 35 impact framework. And what that does is somebody else who has their video on, can you just please, guys, can we just send messages, team? Can we just send messages to people who have their videos on to just please switch them off? Thank you. So there's the 35 impact framework that I said I've designed to help you strategically showcase your achievements and communicate your value during your job search. All right. It focuses on the 35 key areas where you can quantify your impact, whether it's time saved, whether it's cost reduced, process improved, or results achieved. Now, I will say to you again that sometimes, right? Not sometimes, a lot of us on here have numbers on our CV. How many of us have numbers on our CV? I reduced ratio by 25%. I did this by 70%. I increased sales by 2%. You have all of that written on your CV. But if we're being honest with ourselves, how many of us really know or can really explain what that means? So numbers are great. In as much as they're great, it doesn't really mean much to a hiring manager, if I'm being honest with you. You need it to make sense, and I'll explain why. I'll give you context, right? So in this, what we've done is what I've done is actually sat down and actually, like I said, have 35 areas, and I'll just talk you through some of those 35 areas that I've identified are really essential for you to point out in your CV. Some of it is time saving. As an individual, how have you helped your company save time? How have you helped the company you're working with do any cost reductions? How have you helped your company in growing their revenue, in their productivity, in their client retention, in their employee engagement, in sales conversations, in market shares, increasing their market shares, in training effectiveness, in cost avoidance, in quality improvement, in customer satisfaction? Every company that's customer facing needs that customer satisfaction. How did you help your team building? How did you budget? How did you help in budgeting? How did you do in your stakeholder engagement, risk management, operational scaling, community impact? All of these things are important. Even your awards are important. But if you're just putting it, I have this award on this, or just putting a matrix, just putting those numbers, it's not going to make you stand out. So adding one extra, I did this, or it's not going to make you stand out. What really does happen is that these people, when they look at your CV, they want you to provide context. So, for example, explain the situation, the challenge that your company was facing, and the task behind the numbers that you're giving. All right. So, Then you highlight the skill sets that you have, and then you demonstrate the value that you brought into there. And I'll give examples, okay? And I'll just say right now at the beginning of this call, and I'll probably say it again for people who are probably going to join later, is that every single one of you who has come on this webinar will be getting a copy of the 35 impact, the 35 framework impact of how to sell yourself. So you're getting that for free, okay? So just for attending this webinar, you get that for free because I really want to equip you. Like I said, I want you to get those jobs. I want you to get those interviews, okay? And if you're doing it the wrong way, you're not going to make you're not going to make any headway, okay? So you need to align what you're doing, your role, with what you're doing currently, all right? So I'll just give examples of what I mean by this, okay? Let me just give an example. So by saying, for example, I say to a company, I identified redundancies in software subscription, cutting costs by 20% annually, and reallocating savings to revenue generating tools. So it's like saying I talked about, let me just give a better understanding. So first of all, you choose which of the areas. Out of all the skill sets that I just mentioned, I know I haven't mentioned all of them, cost saving, time saving, skills, all of that. You just identify, choose one of the areas that you want to, specifically talk about. And then you explain the context, by giving a brief understanding, a brief background, like I said, the task, the challenge. So, and then from there, you will now explain further to us, how showcase the skill sets that you use and the actions that you took, and then what outcome. So I'll just use for time saving, I'll just use an example of saying context I'm giving in my CV is data entry task consumed about 20% of employees' weekly hours. So what's the action that I took? I implemented a CRM solution to automate repetitive tasks. This cut our data entry time by 50% and then reallocating 10 hours weekly to client-facing activities. Can you see how if you put that in your CV, that's more easy for somebody to understand the context of just seeing that, what they call it, I improved, imagine I just wrote, I cut data entry time by 50%. And they're like, and? Do you understand? And because that's the question that comes to their mind. And I say that to a lot of people. When a person is looking at your CV, the first thing they're thinking is and. And if your next line that they're going to read does not answer that and, then they're not going to call you back. Okay. So let me give another example. Budget approvals were delayed due to manual processes. I designed an automated budgeting, tracking, and approval workflow. And this reduced approval times from 5 days to 2 days, enabling a faster project execution. Can you see that how that is in a very 3 lines, one like 2 sentences, I kind of told them what I did and what impact it gave. So there's the context of what I'm doing, there's the action that I took, and there's the result that it produced. Okay. And so that's how your CV stands out because it's not just I decreased response time by 30% in our organization, resulting in 25 increase in customer satisfaction. And they're asking themselves, okay, but if you started by saying client face long waiting times for customer support resolutions. So I introduced a ticket prioritization system and trained staff on triaging that request. And this decreased response time by 30%, resulting in a 25% increase in customer satisfaction. How many people believe that that would actually make them stand out more in their CV? So how many people can tell me if they're already doing this? Yeah. So I want to see, I'm checking the chat box now. And how many people are already doing this, or how many people actually think this is helpful? So you need to give context in what you're writing. Now, I know the CV, they say it's 2-pager. And there's some countries, there's some people on here who are probably joining us from the Americas, or there are people who are joining us from Canada. Most of them actually prefer 1-page CVs. And there are ways we can still use all of this, put them in there. All right. So you can have all of that, all of these things that I just talked about, still getting that information. So it's better to have 7 lines, right, on your CV that's impactful than have 20 that doesn't get you anywhere. So imagine you had 20 lines written that's just talking about 25%, 70% here, 40% achievement here. So it's not giving context and it's not telling them what you did in that, right? it's better to have 7 lines that explain the context of it, the action you took, and the depth, that's the results that it achieved, and just having, like I said, 20 lines that's just telling numbers is not going to change anything. And I'm talking from experience because I'm a hiring manager myself. Okay. So that's the 20. I can go into so many different examples. I can talk about let me use one now, client retention. Client retention, for example, I can give a context. So let's say I'm in a customer facing role, and I want to give context of saying, so we had dissatisfied customers. Dissatisfied customers cited a lack of proactive updates on services. I established a regular client update schedule, and that improved retention rate by 15%, contributing to a 10% increase in our contract renewals. So imagine as a business, because as a business, what you always, what businesses actually thrive on is return customers. So if you've bought from me before, what is the possibility that you want to buy from me again? Businesses want to keep that. And if I'm putting in my CV that I identified dissatisfied customers and then decided a lack of, any update on our services, because I saw that, I established a regular client update schedule. A schedule, just putting them on the schedule and saying every 2 weeks we're going to update our customers on the new updates that are on our system. Then what then happened after? This improved retention rate by 15%. And then it contributed to 10% increase in our contract renewals. So companies were happy to renew contracts with us. Like I said, you're getting this for free, and you can go and use it and, clean up your CV. That's all I'm saying. Just clean it up. All right. So moving on, this is an example. I just showed you a CV that wasn't so great. This is an example of a CV that you are quite experienced. I mean, I'm sure there's some of you on here who've had 5, 7, 10 years experience, but you don't know how to put it together. So if you were working with us, for example, and then in the digital product that I'm going to be talking about at the end of this, we have free templates for America, Canada, UK CVs. All right. And I'll just give an example. So I'm just looking, if you're looking at my screen right now, you see kind of talks about your name, your email address, if you have a LinkedIn, make sure it's there. People underestimate the absolute importance of your LinkedIn on being on your CV, one. They also underestimate the importance of your phone number or your email address being correct. I'll give a very good example. There was a lady, she contacted us and wanted us to do her CV. She had paid, we'd done her CV. We were not trying to reach my girl. Contact her, send text message, contact her. The message will bounce back. Email will bounce back. And then I said to my team, I was like, this is really disturbing. How? Because the email address apparently that she had used to send us the email to, make payments, that we had been contacting her, it was full. Her inbox was full. So she wasn't receiving new emails. What does that mean? When a recruiter is trying to reach her via email, the email will bounce back. The phone number she gave us was wrong. We couldn't reach her. So imagine she had paid for something. So imagine I was a recruiter trying to reach out to her. I would not be able to reach her. After I try once, your CV is great. You have all the qualifications I need. I tried to reach you once. I tried to reach you 2 times. I can't reach you. I will drop your CV and move on to the next person. And that's how the world moves. So please do not underestimate the importance of your correct email address, your correct phone number, and your LinkedIn. If they can at least let the LinkedIn be working so that they click on it, they can automatically get on your page. Okay. So you need to say as well, what your skill sets are, we've said it, and it's true. You need to edit your CV for different roles that you're applying for. Essential. But you need to also give a highlight. So if I look at your CV, I want to be able to see highlight PMO analyst, project procurement manager. I want to be able to see that those are the two main things that you are trying to sell to me, because that's what I'm looking for. If I look at your CV and it says PMO analyst and I'm actually looking for a CRM lead or a business analyst, what's going to happen? I'm going to move on. So that header here, if you just look at the screen, that header at the top here is really essential. Like it's carrying the wordings of the CV that you're of the role that you're applying for. Another thing that is very important, just give a very quick snapshot. But another thing that's really essential at this top here, because when they're reading your CV, they spend a lot of time here, is your success story. So it's either you say your success story or your so far so good, what you've done. Okay. Like your highlights of all the roles that you've been doing. So what's your success story? By saying things along the lines of some of the things that you achieved, like your main achievements, things you're really proud of. Now, I'm sure a lot of us are proud of a lot of things, but when you're able to do like a snapshot of the most relevant skills that you have that you've done on that very top part, honestly, you will not go wrong. Then another thing that's really important is your core skills. So we're talking your core skills, itemize them. Is it your core skills in your, and then the kind of tools that you use, methodology, standards, all of those things, very essential. Then you also then go straight into your employment history. So you talk about that very, very quickly and snapshotty. So if you, I know some of you on here probably worked in 7, 8 different places. You don't have to list it all out. Just choose 2, 3 maximum of roles you're going to elaborate on, 1, 2, 3. And then you then go on your prior work experience and just tell us the employment period and the company that it was. All right. And then another part that's important is your education or any sort of, will I say, professional summary of anything that you've done. Because some of us like to gather, what's it called? Pali, just be gathering all of the pali and just be saying, this certification, I went and I got this certification. Put it all together, you're going to put it in your education section. Now, the reverse is the case if you're in a country like America or Canada. What most times they want to see your education first. They don't want to see your little tell me about yourself thing up the top there. People want to see your education first, and then they want to see your the things that you've done very, very strongly. Yeah. So I hope this is helpful. So, like I said, we have these templates somewhere in there that we will share with you. So I explained this before, why numbers alone are not enough, why you need to how the results that you need to see how were the results achieved, what strategies or tools did you use, why does it matter to the organization? These are things that that 35 framework piece that we've created is going to give to you. So I'm not going to spend enough time a lot of time on here. So what is the situation? What challenges? What tools? We've kind of touched on that already. So speak your value 35-point framework, and your CV. You need this, and you get that for free from us today. All right. So like I said, we've just only scratched the surface. We're going to move to the part that I'm actually very, very excited about. And this is another way that you can stand out in this job market. Is anybody in the chat? I want to just go and check the chats for a few seconds. Are people still following? Have I lost you? Has Bernadette said, ha, they're like, please, so all this one is too much for me. Let me just go and continue sending my many, many CVs or my bad CV in peace and not feel pressured. Okay, so I can see a lot of thumbs up. That's really, really, really helpful. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go into a part that I really love, which is networking. I could write a full book on networking and the importance of it. Okay. So let's just say that, we're talking networking, right? We're talking networking. And so please tell me, how many of you on here? Can you guys still see my screen? All right. How many of you on here? Um, good, good. Give me a second. Let me just be sure. Like I said, networking. Give me a second. So talking networking, right? How many of you, let's have very honest conversation. This one is very, very important to me. How many of you here are looking for a job and you don't leave your house? Like wherever they say things are happening, there's an event going on, you're not there. You're just sitting in your house and expecting the job to come to you. One thing I will say to you for free is that people hire people. In as much as you go for an interview and, or let's say you get an interview, or your CV even gets picked out of the 1 million CVs that are being, brought in front of people or hiring manager. At the end of the day, you've applied to work in Google, you've applied to work in wherever, any company, power to chase, you've applied to work in power to chase. Any of these companies you've identified, you've now gone there. Remember, Meta, Google, whoever is not interviewing you. It's an individual in the room that is interviewing you for the job. So Meta might hire you, they'll become your hiring company, but it was Funke that interviewed you. So how well are you making yourself? And guess what? People hire people they can relate with. I've had so many people, and I'm trying my best not to talk about it too much because this is one strategy that all of my clients know is important, and we use it to our advantage. There's so many networking events. There are networking events on LinkedIn. There are networking events in person. How many of you on here live in a local area, but there are job fairs or there are things happening that you haven't even attended? You don't even know about it. I'm sure if you Googled job fairs near me, you don't even know where it is. You don't even know what companies around you are doing. Or let's say you've said, "Ah, do you know, I realized that there's an office for let's just say, let me just find one this that's very close to where I live, a nice company. There's this, I don't know how many of you know the AGA master, AGA cooking master or something. They have a big their factory and their big, I think their biggest company or their biggest office is near me. Imagine that AGA has been doing something about, maybe they've been having events around talking about getting to get a lot more people in to come and see what they do. And, or let's even say JLR. I mean, everybody here knows Jaguar Land Rover. Jaguar Land Rover is close to me as well. And Jaguar Land Rover has been doing events. Maybe it was an event where they showcased some of their new cars. They just launched a new car and there was an event. I'm looking for a job. I saw Jaguar Land Rover just launched a new car and they're having an event near me. And I'm not at that event. It's a free event too, where you will meet the people who are decision makers there, where you will meet people who are the designers. What is the easiest way? So I need and I need to ask this question now. What is the easiest way? Not easiest way. What is the best way to get a person to be interested in you? I just want to hear options in the chat. Please tell me what you think. How many of you in the chat just feel like give me examples of what you think? Let's interact, guys. What is the best way to get a person interested in you that you already see standing in front of? Please tell me, tell me, tell me. I'm waiting. Please don't tell me we don't know. Talk to them. Yeah, that's a good one, Claire. So we're talking to them. So if you talk to them, they get interested in you. Put yourself forward. Talk. Yeah. Talk to the person. Ask them about the product design. Yes. What else? What else again? Be interested in what they're interested in. Okay, I love it. I'm loving this. Relating to them. Give compliments. Simisola is the closest. Can I tell you one thing people like the most? Is talking about themselves and their achievements. So when you walk into a room and you see a person who is a product designer, ah, mind you, before the end of that, if I have a conversation with you, you either give me your job or you tell me you want to work with me. You know why? I will let you tell me. Do you know what are my favorite? Anybody who works with me, my favorites. I don't know why we stopped our recording. Can who clicked on recording stuff? Sorry, guys. Let me just resume recording. All right. So one of the things, like I said, is I will make you so excited about yourself that I would ask you questions about. I'm like, treat me like an idiot. Treat me like an idiot. Please tell me, how did this thing work? Are you for real? Wow. So tell me more. See, it might just be if we're having a conversation, I'd really like to try this with somebody on the call just to see. Anybody on here who wants to just jump on very quickly, I'll just choose somebody randomly if nobody jumps on. And I'll just ask you to tell me something. Uh, somebody, anybody who's put their hand up? All right, Claire, let's go for it.
Okay.
hmm So, hi, Claire. Would you like to tell me about yourself and what you're doing?
Oh, right. I am currently seeking work. I haven't worked for like a year. So this is me being honest with you.
Mhm.
I've worked as a business analyst for over 6 years, but sometime last year, getting close to a year now, I was made redundant. So I'm actually on the job market seeking new employment.
So, you're seeking new employment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you're seeking new employment, what are you doing differently to showcase yourself? I'd really like to know.
Right. Well, recently, prior to just a few weeks ago, I've been applying just, the way you'd normally apply online and all that, not been getting great results. So recently I decided to volunteer. So I was just speaking to a friend who has her own business. And she said, she just randomly mentioned that, she's looking for someone to, join her to do things. She's been doing this sort of stuff and she's a consultancy kind of thing, events planning and management and stuff. So I said, I'm happy to key it, plug in. And she goes like, oh, I can't pay you. I said, I don't mind, you
That's
know
fine.
doing that. So obviously, just to keep, the whole, because you'd say I've got the experience already, to being a business analyst, but then 1 year out of work, the mojo is probably like, on the decline. So I
Okay.
decided to, start doing that.
All right. One of the things, Claire, this is a very, very good learning opportunity for everybody. One of the things I would like to say to you, Claire, going forward is one thing I would like you to stop doing is leading with the problem. When you're sitting in a room with people, the last thing you want to do is let them know that you've been made redundant. One, and I'll explain why. The second thing is you never want to let them know that you are currently looking for work. It sounds funny, but you need to always come in. You have your business analysis experience. You have where you're, what's the word now, that you're volunteering in your friend's company. You need to always sound like that person because what do people always want? People want what they cannot have. It is human nature. People want what everybody else wants. If I come to you and I say, you know what, I actually don't have a job right now. I'm really, really struggling, automatically you've gone on to from my list of, oh, this girl probably looks good, she might probably good, I might now start getting to, I'll bring you to the place of pity where I'm like, okay, it might be my pity hire. You don't want to be a pity hire. You want to be, I am the best person for the job and I am in the room because I deserve to be in the room. So how you show up is really essential. So obviously we've now gone a bit off based on what I'm saying. But when you network, when you go into any sort of networking event or networking opportunity, never lead with the fact that, oh, I'm just looking for a job or I've been out of job for a year. When you talk about the business analysis experience that you had for however long you've had it, or you still talk about it like you talk about it as a present, and then you talk about the your, and you don't say, oh, I'm currently volunteering. Could also be if you want to even talk about things that I took a year off. So how do you explain your work gap? I took a year off to do some self-development. I took a year off to, because the first thing you want to do is show that you are relevant for the main time. You don't want to come off as you will talk about that later when the time is right, you know. But at that first instance, it's not lying. You actually took time off. You've taken time off to do some, because yes, even though it was somebody that made you take time off, but you have taken time off and you are currently doing what? In the process of learning, or you like doing some self-development. I'm currently doing some volunteering as well with this company. You mentioned the company. I do this, some of my expertise, even though I'm doing some I'm currently just, taking some time off to do some learning. I still don't want my brain to be redundant, so I'm giving some of my time to so and so company to just help their team grow, to do this, do this, do this, do this. Do you see how that makes you more desirable to
Yeah.
the person you're having a conversation with, as opposed to saying, you know what, I've actually been out of work. I'm actually looking for, because it just seems like, first of all, they will throw you anything. And when they give you any job, they will give you the bottom option. for the salary because they know you're desperate. So
Right.
you never want to sound desperate. You never, even if you are desperate and you're talking to a person who is you never want to sound desperate. You always want to sound as you lead with what you have as
Right.
opposed to what you don't have. Okay? So I'm not saying go there and lie. I'm just saying lead with what you have as opposed to what you don't have. Okay? It makes you um more, let's say, sellable. Okay?
Yeah, cool. Appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So yeah, so like I said, networking is so underrated. It's something that people make decisions based on, first of all, your appearance. When you show up for a networking event, how do you show up? How do you look when you come into that networking event? What are the things that you're saying to people? What are the conversations you're having? Are you sitting in one corner and just trying to take it all in? Yes, it's good to observe, but it's also good to engage. Because when you engage, you can have conversations. Like I said, people like talking about themselves and their achievements. I will give you an opportunity to talk about yourself, what you've achieved, and I'll just keep repeating, oh, wow, really amazing. Tell me more about that. You mentioned about this. Tell me more about that. You mentioned this. Tell me more about that. Blessing, I see your hand is up. Yes, please.
Yeah, sorry. I was really enjoying the conversation around networking, and I wanted that role play around
Mhm.
how you go from asking someone about what they do into now chipping in, like you might be interested in something in the organization. I
I
wanted to see
love
in
that.
practice how it how it really works, and if we could
Uh,
role play with the Jaguar thing a bit, and
yeah,
I want to see how you do it with maybe with me. Yeah.
let's go for it. Let's go for it, Blessing. So you're the guy giving the work, right? Blessing.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I'm the one who's looking for work. Hi, Blessing.
Mm.
Wow, I can just see that, you guys are doing so amazing. Just looked at the specs of this particular car, and I noticed that it's slightly different from the one you guys released 2 years ago. Can you tell me a bit more about that and why you guys decided to do that?
Oh, thank you for asking. So I drew the original design because we wanted to go from wanted to design an electric car, but most electric cars, because of the features, seem quite boring. So wanted something that addresses the issue of looking very sexy while
Mhm.
also making sure it's electric and it can go on for hours without needing to charge it. Are you tell me about what you like about the car?
So I'm going to be honest with you, Blessing. In as much as I want to tell you everything I love about the car, I really want to know from your perspective. Because I mean, for me, for example, Blessing, you just talked about the fact that you wanted to make it sexy. So who was your target audience? Because I want to tell you after you answer that question what I love about the car. All right?
Okay, so we know that women make buying decisions. So even though men are our customers, lots of men are our customers, but if the girlfriend doesn't like the car, he might not want to buy it. So we wanted cars that would appeal to women, and that women would desire to buy it. And so our trademark colors were red and gold, colors that appeal to women. I
Blessing,
designed them.
I was just going to say to you that the color is one of the things that actually stood out for me the most. Then for me, I did a virtual experience of it and I love the dashboard. You guys did something totally different with that. What's the idea behind, like that part where you just click a button? How did you guys think about that? I'm really curious about that.
So I'm glad you like the can. You're a woman, so it means we did something right.
Yeah, you
So we spent
definitely
hours
did.
with our team just brainstorming and testing out what had worked with our various other models. And eventually we did some initial product launch with a small group. And many of the kind of people we reached out to, they love the dashboard too. And they really like the functionality and the appeal for the audience. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
tell me what you liked about the audience, the dashboard, aside from the color, what do you like about
But I
dashboard?
like on the dashboard, like I said, it was that button. It was that button that you guys just made that was, the one you press it, it just kind of pops up at you. That really stood out for me, Blessing. Another thing that really stood out for me, Blessing, was the fact that because of my background, in engineering and understanding how this sort of things work, I really, really, I was quite fascinated with how you guys achieve that because previously I've done something slightly similar, and I did
Mm.
it but I didn't do it with dashboards. We did it with the doors. And so, if in the future you ever wanted, to see how, to explore putting that same button on doors, I'm your girl.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Do you do
Mm.
it for our competition? Which company do you do that for?
If I tell you, then I'll have to, you know, off you. So, anyways, I'm not going to tell you if I
Okay,
work with
good.
your competition, but I will tell you that I have a bit of insights, and it might be good for us to have a conversation over coffee if that's fine with you. We can, take this
Okay,
forward
great.
later. Yeah.
Okay, great. So
So,
just to
what's the
say that
best way to reach you, Leslie?
I could give you my card, but do you have an iPhone? We could just
Yes, we could just
touch
exchange
tips.
contacts. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just
when is
touch
the best
tips.
time to reach you?
Oh, that's really pushing. So this week is out of it. How about next week? Next
Perfect.
week, do me an email after this call, and I'll book an appointment. I'll get you into my calendar.
I'll do just that, Blessing. I'm looking forward to that conversation, and I'm really looking forward to just learning a lot more from yourself, and probably just exchanging ideas.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you. I've got your contact, so I will send an email after this. Lovely, lovely to meet you
Thank
again.
you.
I'll just
So
go
so
on
what's your name
and
again?
network.
What's your name again? So that
Bernadette,
I remember. Ben,
Bernadette,
lovely, lovely.
Bernadette,
Nice to meet you.
Bernadette with the big B.
Nice to meet you, sir.
All right.
I
Take
noticed
care.
that you took your conversation. So this is out of we're done with role
Yeah,
playing.
we're done. Hmm.
You decided to zero in on the things that I was excited about from what
Hmm.
you said. And then I don't know if this was deliberate, but you just kept calling my name. So people like to hear
Yes,
the sound of their name. So that was
yes.
intentional. You just kept
I
saying
love
my
it
name.
that you noticed. Yes.
So I was falling in love while you were calling my name. But thank you for that. I now see the inroad. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see how it's easy for you to go to a networking event and actually make yourself rememberable. Sometimes, when you have a conversation with a person, we might have started with me introducing myself. You didn't remember my name but when I'm now done talking, now when you see me send you an email saying, Blessing, lovely catching up earlier today, really looking forward to that conversation about the doors, you will get it. Even if it's a LinkedIn link that I send you a message on there and then you respond. Because now I've shown you value. I've shown that I like what you're doing, but I've also shown you there that I also have other ideas that might be useful to you while still having a very simple conversation. So you see how networking can change the game for you. I'm not going to spend too much time showing you guys this networking thing because I'm bringing in somebody right now. I'm going to just skip through a bit and then just talk about the person I'm bringing in. Her name is Michaela. Michaela, please tell me that you are on the call and you are happy to jump on to just talk us through. So Michaela is one of my, will I say clients, ton friend, ton sister. Yeah, Michaela, my
Hi,
girl.
Danny. Hi.
Yes, hi. So Michaela came to us a few months ago, maybe about 6, 7 months ago. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Michaela was on level 3 within the NHS. So Michaela had been working in the NHS for a long time, I think
Yeah.
3 years before that or so. And she'd been on level 3 in NHS. And as I'm talking to you now, Michaela didn't just move from a band 3. She went from band 3, she went to band 5 while working with us for the first 3 months. And between that 3 months to the next 3 months, Michaela moved to a band 7. And as I'm talking to you now, Michaela is a band 7, but we're already eyeing a band 9. Because one thing that we do, am I lying, Michaela? Are we not
You're
on the
not.
same
You're
page?
not lying. No.
Net Networking is the key. What did Michaela do differently? Michaela networked, and I want her to say her
Mm.
story herself. I want her to walk us through how she achieved that. It was just like, why I said I know Michaela's aiming for a band 9 is because she's gotten the band 7 and she's enjoying it. She's new in that role. She's gone to networking events, and people are already telling her when a role opens up, we will get in touch with you
Yes.
because that's what you do. You network. People make recommendations for people. All right. So, Michaela, I had some questions that I wanted to ask you. So give me a second. Let me just fish out my questions because
No problem, no problem.
I've just kind of lost that. So whilst I'm fishing out my questions, just introduce yourself. So I'll mute myself for a bit.
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to say thank you for inviting me to this webinar. I'm really, really excited to be here to tell you about my journey and what I've done to get to where I am right now. First of all, I'll say my name is Michaela Takia, and about 6 months, even more than around the beginning, the first quarter of last year, I joined with Benghazi Careers, and I can tell you that every step of the way has been very, very, it's been so amazing and great. And I've learned so many things that have gotten me to where I am right now. So I started off last year when I started with them as a program officer working within the NHS. And I'd been working with the NHS for about 4 years, but I was not progressing. And that was something that was a real pain to me. And the thing is that I was not trying. I had been applying, I had been applying internally, I'd been applying externally, but I was just getting rejections left, right, and center. I mean, I know that the job market is really tough, but I also know that people had been successful in getting interviews and moving to different roles. And the thing that was even really bothering me is that I'm already within the NHS. There are jobs within my department, and in my department, I'm still not getting those jobs. And I really wanted, that was like one of my stress points, and that's what pushed me to join in Benghazi's team. And I can tell you that the first thing, as soon as I joined, that I learned that I was not doing is having a strategy. I absolutely had no strategy, and I was just applying aimlessly. If any role came up on the job board internally, I'll apply for it. Externally on the NHS job website, I applied for it. I had no strategy. I had no plan. I had no nothing. I did not know what I liked. I didn't know what I liked. I was actually absolutely convinced that I wanted to be a business analyst. And you can ask Bernie. I was consistent with that. I mean, consistency is good because that's what I've done. But sometimes you need to be flexible and you need to know yourself, what you want, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. What about business analysis did I like? What about what I was doing currently, which was a program officer, did I like about it? And then working your way in finding exactly what you want and what aligns with what your goal, your personal goals, your personal achieve what you want to achieve. And so yes, that's about a bit about me right now. I started off as a program officer. I moved on to becoming a senior program officer working with the Benghazi team. And now I'm a senior policy and delivery officer, which is a different level. I'm moving on towards the policy aspects within the NHS and the digital health as well, which is something I'm really interested in because one of my passions is in advancing health, especially within the ethnic minority groups. And so that is something I've started to do, align where I want to work, where I want to be working with my personal goals, my personal, what I want to do personally. And so that's where I am right now.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you so much for that. I was going to ask you, and I think you just were 2 steps ahead of me by asking you. I was going to ask you, what was holding you back from moving up the bands? But you kind of explained that, you realized that it was one of the things was that you didn't have strategy. All right. So, do you want to touch a bit more on that, or let me just leave that, or I can move on to the next question?
No, I would like to speak more about that. And the thing is about nothing was actually stopping me, but I realized that I did not have a strategy, number one. And number two, I felt very demoralized the more I stayed in the position that I was in because I was not seeing myself outside of what I was doing, or that almost demoralized me. And then I started to get very complacent, and then I started to just feel comfortable in what I was doing. I mean, I can tell you right now that I should have left in 2021. And my sister actually told me there was a day where I was just complaining, and she's like, she's Gen Z, so she's on a different level. The way she's like, yeah, I'll quit now. I don't care what I'm going to do because I know tomorrow I'll find something better. And she's like, you need to quit now. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what job I'll get next. Let me just try and find a different job. And it took me up until last year to realize that actually I do not mind quitting now. I can't stand it anymore. So number one, what I realized is that if you are stuck in something in a position that you do not like, the best thing for you to do is number one, get a strategy of your exit plan. And you need to do it quick because the more you stay there, the more you feel like you be stuck and you feel comfortable with being where you are because you start to get demoralized. So the
Demoralized.
first thing I would say
Yeah.
is find that strategy. And the second thing, you need to find a strategy that works for you and exit quickly. If not, the longer you stay, the longer you remain there. So
Yeah,
that
I
is
agree.
something that I'll say, yeah.
I really agree with that. I hope we're all taking notes and learning. There's another thing I was going to ask you. I said, what were some of the biggest mindset shifts that you experienced while working with us? And how did that change the way that you approached your job application and your career growth that we're seeing currently?
I really love this question because the first thing, yes, the first thing I can say, and the first thing I said when I started it, I think I mentioned to Grace, that I gave myself a certain dates that I wanted to. I'm like, by this date, either I get a job or I don't get a job, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. But the one thing that really when I started that I think Bernie, it was the strategy of really knowing my strengths and weaknesses, the approach to knowing the strengths and weaknesses, what I really wanted, really writing out exactly what I wanted and affirming myself every time. Also, writing it down so you can visually see it and then affirming yourself every single time and just working and with just together with your strategy, working that way. And so once I started to realize what I could do better. I started to visualize where I could be rather than staying where I was. Then my
Yeah,
mindset started to change. So that was the main thing. I had to visualize myself doing something else. I really had to know exactly who I was, what I wanted, and then execute.
yeah,
Because it's not that I was not applying for the roles when I was within, I was, but the thing is that number one, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was stuck on the fact that I wanted to do business analysis. I didn't know why I wanted to do business analysis. And the thing is that I also didn't see myself. It's almost like, oh, I've heard that business analysis is good. And
I get
that's what
that
I
a
want to
lot.
do. Yes, I've already have experience in program management. So
Yeah.
business analysis is good. And so that's what I want to do. I didn't really visualize myself. I didn't really see it
Mm.
aligning with what I wanted to do moving forward, like long term. And I just made that decision. And that was what was really making me not grow. So
Mm.
my mindset changed when I started to visualize what I wanted to do, really look into the visualize it, and also affirming. I remember you sent us a video, Bernie, and
Hmm.
I watched
Hmm.
that video, and also affirmations. I really
Hmm.
started to affirm myself. I'm a Christian, so including praying when my quiet time, I'll affirm myself. I will pray on myself. I'll use scriptures, but really affirming myself and visualizing what I wanted to do, and also knowing where I wanted to go. What are my core values, and what do I want to do, and where do I see myself? So that was the mindset that I had
Thanks,
one when I
Michaela.
joined Benghazi. Yeah.
That's quite helpful. So how did networking really change the game for you? And what strategies did we teach you that helped you leverage your connections to secure high band roles?
Oh, networking. I'm still learning how to network now, but I can't tell you how much of a game changer it's been. The first thing I will say is really understanding how to present yourself. The one thing that you mentioned, and that was fairly recently that I started doing, was to make sure you introduce yourself to a certain amount of people on a weekly basis. And I've taken that like it's my morning smoothie that I take every day. Every single week, I sit down and I look at my organization when we have briefings, when I see really understanding the different types of people that I also want to connect with. So number one is when it comes to networking is being able to know how to introduce yourself. Tell me about yourself. That tell me about yourself is really important. And I'm a type of person that I knew that I had to, when it came to speaking and talking about myself, I had to improve. And so I really made it a point to put in my diary every week as time where I just practice tell me about yourself. And that's
Mm.
something that I had to do so that if I were to meet anyone that I was really interested in, whether it be face to face, whether it be virtually, I'm easily able to present and just talk about myself in a way that draws them in so that they want to
Mm.
know more about me. So that was the one thing when it came to networking that I really had to practice, and I continue to practice now, is being able to speak about yourself and storytelling as well. Storytelling. And so
Mhm.
when you're in the position where you have the opportunity to speak to somebody that you know, oh, I really need to speak to this person, I really need to network with this person, you're able to present yourself perfectly. Now with networking, once I got into the first role, once after working with the Benghazi team, I did not want to remain in the same place because I had that vision and I knew what I wanted. I kept on moving. As soon as I got there, on the night, the one thing that they were really nice about doing is that they set up meetings with all of the directors, all of the deputy directors, your peers, and every day I had a few people to speak to within my onboarding period. I had so many people that I spoke to. And whilst I was speaking to those people, I made notes of the people that I really connected with. So I made notes with this assistant director. I made notes with this director. I made notes with this person on this department. I made notes of all the people that I really connected with, because when you have that initial conversation, you're able to tell people that you click with and people that you know that you want to
Yep.
speak to more. And so I made notes of that. So I have a list. And that's the one thing I learned as well when I was working with you, Bernie, is even when I was looking for roles, one of the strategies was getting the contacts and saving the contacts, and then having like a Excel spreadsheet where
Follow up.
you've got
Yep.
all of these
Yep.
contacts to track
Mhm.
all of those things. And that is what I used as well. That same strategy I used, but instead of it being for hiring managers and recruiters, it was for important people that I wanted to speak to, or contacts that I thought were important to me to move me forward. And then within that, I categorized them to who are the sponsors, who are my peers, who are the connectors, who are
Mhm.
I just categorize them, and then I put in a different what I want from them and
Yeah.
how many times I'll get in contact with them, because there are some people are really busy. You don't want to be getting in contact with them every day. So, but for people that are my peers on the same level as me, if I wanted to go into their department, for example, to learn more about what they're doing, I can speak to them almost
Mm.
every 2 weeks. But for a director that is really busy, that's a different story. The one thing that really helped me in even what moving to the next, my highest band that I'm on right now, is I made him unconscious. I didn't even realize that she recognized me with people team manager. And so
Oh,
when she saw
so your
me,
picture.
yeah, yes. So the people
Hmm.
team, I caught, she saw me and then she's like, oh yes, Michaela, how are you doing? I spoke to you. I've forgotten that I spoke to her. And she's like, actually, there is this role that we were speaking to when we were at this program, and I think they might be recruiting. It's not out yet, but I'm telling you first so that you know how to position yourself.
Mm.
So being able to just present yourself and making yourself rememberable for people to actually
Mm.
contact you and remember you
Yeah.
is really
Mm.
key. And that's what happened in this case. So it turns out that I've already been working in this role, and my role after I worked with the Benghazi team. It's just been 3-4 months that I've been working into it. But I was looking for something more. So I was just speaking about myself, introducing myself to people. I spoke with someone apparently on the people team. I didn't even realize she was from people team, but she was there when I was speaking about myself and what I wanted to do. And then she messaged me one time and emailed me to say, Michaela, we've got this opportunity coming up. I will set up a meeting with you to speak to the hiring manager on the team. And so just be ready because they will get in contact with you. Only for that person, the hiring manager, to get in contact with me. And this is someone that I've already been networking with like
Networking
months
with.
ago.
Yeah, I
Yes,
remember that. Yeah.
months ago. So and the thing that I realized from this experience is not just networking with people when you need them to do something, but building that relationship
Mm,
way before. So when you get
way
into
before
the position where you need something, you've already built that relationship. It's not about
relationship.
just I'm only contacting you because I need something from you.
Yeah.
So I got to the I received the invite and I realized, oh my gosh, I know this lady. I follow her on LinkedIn. I've already built a relationship with her. I've met her in a program. We had a chat. We were laughing about train
Yeah.
situations and how the train was cancelled and what we're going to do. We've had all of
Well,
this
Michaela,
initial
that's a good thing.
conversation.
That's a good
Yeah.
thing that you remember the conversation as well, because it's
Yes.
another thing because you're keeping track of the people that you're meeting, even though as in keeping, I mean, when I always say to you guys, you need to always have it like be very specific. What is this person? Who are they? What do they do? When did I meet them? What's the follow-up? Because you had
Yes.
that, it was easy for you to remember where you met her and what conversations you had. Because it's very easy when you're networking, you just I remember this face, but I can't remember the conversation. But
Yeah.
just remembering that conversation, even now you're remembering that you guys were talking about the train and all of that. It's easy to then let that conversation flow. I mean, going back to, the role play with Blessing just now, also just shows you that when you're having the conversation, when I was having that conversation with Blessing, people remember me as the door button girl, the lady that, that potentially can help them improve their quality of their button, what's it called? Button cars that are going to have buttons on the door. So it's just keeping that very, very be memorable. We cannot say that
Very
enough.
memorable. Yes.
Be memorable, because people have a lot going on in their minds, and you're not at the top of their minds. Be memorable and come with something. Don't be, yeah, Michaela, just I'm sorry I
Yeah.
cut you off. I just
Yes,
wanted
you
to
have to be really memorable. And as soon as we got on that chat, she's like, oh my gosh, Michaela, I remember you. Just tell me what's going on. What do you want? And she's like, okay, I hear you. I told her what I wanted. I told her what I wanted to do. She's like, okay, that's perfect. I'm hiring for this. Can you believe that they put, and the thing is that I'd seen it's really amazing. This networking is really, really important. I'd applied for it. Other people had applied for it. I'd gotten an interview for it, an interview time and date for it. Other people had as well. But
Mm.
2 or 3 days before, because I'd had this contact initial meeting with her, they ended up
Mm.
canceling all of those interviews and they
Every other
gave it
person
directly to
interview.
me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening now. So the power of interviewing, connecting with people is really, really important. And it's
Essential.
not just because and this made me wonder if that was the first time that I'd met her, even if I was good for the position and everything. I'm not sure if it would have been the same if that was the first time that I met her and I was speaking to her. But because
Mm.
I'm thinking, because I'd already interacted with her on different occasions at different programs, and I had her on LinkedIn, I'd been following her. I didn't even realize I'd been following her since 2023. And then
On
I'm like, oh my
LinkedIn.
gosh, I read, and then that's what we were talking about in when we got together. We're like,
Michaela,
I've been
I
following you.
need
She's
to
like,
cut
good.
you. I need to cut you. I know this is really
Yes.
great conversations and all of that, but I need to cut you there, guys. So can you see that networking cannot be underestimated? Yes, she needed to do the CV, sorry, the person specification, all of that. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Person specification, know herself, apply for the first band 5 role, but from band 5 going upwards is now networking. So it also tells you
Yes.
that the higher you go in the bands, the higher you go when you're working, it's dependent on your network. Your network will determine your net worth. It's easy to just
Yeah.
say that to you, but the truth is, if you don't network, you cannot move forward. You cannot move higher. Which then brings me to my next question, which, people who are probably on here who are very specific, interested in NHS related roles.
Mm.
There are things that, we did with you and us as well. And we have a masterclass coming up in March, which was specifically having to show you, it's one thing to tell you that we're doing all these wonderful things and Michaela's getting the results. One thing Michaela said to me, and I know she hasn't mentioned, is that Michaela says to me, she's like, Bernadette, I don't, when I apply for a job, I know I'll get called within the NHS because We've taught her how to do it, how to apply, what to do, and all of that. We have specialists. I'm not in NHS. I don't even like NHS. Like, I'm not saying I don't like it, but I don't want to work in NHS. But there are people who know what to do and how to do it. So we work in collaboration with those people, and we bring them in to come and have conversations. And which is why I said we're having a masterclass, and we're bringing one or two of them to just come and sit with you for 2-day masterclass, teaching you what to do. So you're not staying with us for 5, 6, 7, 10 weeks. You just come in 2 days, have that masterclass, teach you how to write your person specification, how to apply, because we all know NHS is the one that sponsors visas easily. So, Michaela, do you want to talk about how, we equipped you on, applying and knowing exactly how to apply, and just be very confident that you will get those callbacks?
Yes. So the first thing that I had to do is to have a strategy, and that's what I mentioned previously, but also knowing exactly what you want to do. Because the thing is that once you start applying for everything, then it's almost like you're just applying because you're just applying. There is no strategy, there is no plan. And that's what I did. And the thing is that yes, when we're in the session that I was having with you, Bernie, yes, you said to be flexible and just apply for all of these other things. But I think the one thing that I did is I was consistent in knowing that I wanted to really stay within the healthcare, because that's
Yeah.
my background. I'm a scientist, and then I've got experience in program management already, and that I knew that is what I wanted to do. But then it started to get funny when I thought I really had to do business analysis, and I didn't really know why. So really knowing exactly what you want to do, if it's finance that you want to do and you know you really want to, because there's some people that there's some positions that, for example, with HR, you can be an HR in any field, in any sector. It can be in healthcare, it can be in finance, it can be in whatever sector. But if you know, for example, you want to work within NHS, for example, like I did, and you want to stick to it, there are other healthcare industries that you can go into. Yes, but I knew I wanted to be in NHS, and I was really determined to do that. So I stuck to it. And then I changed my strategy to understanding what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, where I can improve, and what my threats are. And that is what I did. Really knowing that and planning my way. And then when it came to the application, because I had been applying all of these years. But what changed after I attended these sessions with and the sessions that I attended with Bernie? What changed is the way I started to answer questions within the NHS application style. Because the thing with NHS is that the application is really long. And so when you task yourself with applying for too many, and you're having to do all of these applications, and then what you start to do is to copy and paste to each one. But I narrowed it down to specific. I'll say in a day I'll do one, or in a day I'll take on one, or even more than for 3 days I'll be working on one specific job interview application that I want to do. And I really break it down. The one thing, really understanding the job description, breaking it down, and applying that way. So understanding what they really want you to do on the role, number is key. The second thing that is key is speaking. If there is a contact number, they call them and ask them questions. Build a relationship with them. And even yesterday when I was networking, I got to speak to this hiring manager. She said it's always good to call that number and build a relationship and tell them about yourself, because it's so competitive now that if you speak with them, that initial talk, you speak to them and you make yourself rememberable. She's like, I can remember you now because I know you did a task on React mental health. So when I'm having a look at the application, I'll know that, oh, this is Michaela because she spoke to me before. That is what will make you stand out, because she's like, there are a lot of good applications, so we need to narrow it down, and people need to figure out how to do that. So I'll also say having that initial conversation, even if there's no context, try and message the HR board and trying to find out if there is someone that you can speak to, because that will really make you stand out, because a lot of people are doing really good application. Another thing is your person, the
Person
supporting
specification.
evidence. No,
Okay.
the supporting evidence in the that
Mm.
has to be really good. Make sure you speak.
Mm.
Don't just write. Don't just copy and paste what is on the job description and paste it and answer that way. That is good,
Mm.
but you want to stand out. Make sure you put into your supporting information something that makes you different. So for me,
Mm.
I've got background, I'm a scientist. And that's what
Mm.
it took me, somebody, a director that I was speaking to, it took her to say that to me for me to realize that, oh, that is something that is unique
That's
to
a
me, that
unique
not
selling
everybody
point.
has. So if
Mm.
I'm going in that way, what as a scientist is really, really important for the role that I'm applying for that makes me stand out. So I would say something like, as a scientist, I have that methodical way of thinking and that methodical way to approaching complex information and breaking them down into
Mm.
actionable plans. That is
Mm.
something that, if the value within that job role, that is something that will make you stand
That
out.
will make
So
you stand
finding
out.
out the unique points that will make you stand out is really important. Unique to you. It can be something. I'm a interior designer. What makes
Mm.
you, yes, so finding something like that that will make you stand out is really important. And then obviously I've mentioned, and I continue to mention, is just networking,
Just
networking,
network. Thank you,
networking. So
Michaela.
those are the things, yeah, I would
Thank
say.
you. Thank you. There was another thing that you said, which was evidencing, and I know we've talked on that privately as well. In the NHS, is something that's also very, very important on evidencing what you've done. And so if you said, "Oh, I've done this before," how do you evidence it to them to say, "I've actually done this before. This is what it is, and I'm the best person for this role." So it's all of that we will be talking about in the masterclass, taking you through as well. Michaela doesn't really know, but she's one of the people who are calling back to come and give you some insight. So if you want to speak with her as well, she'll really be very available on the masterclass as well. So yeah, guys, thank you so much, Michaela. Do you have any last words you want to share with people before we move on? And I hope this
Yes,
has been
so
helpful understanding the importance of networking. Yeah.
I hope so. I really hope so. And I just want you to, and what I would say, the last things that I would say is really practice the tell me about yourself. Really have a strategy for when you are applying for those. Just narrow it down to and make it really specific and
Mhm.
concentrate on what you really want. And the third thing is networking. Really put
Mhm.
yourself, introduce yourself to someone and speak, be comfortable with expressing and talking yourself and being able to tell people what is unique about you, because that's the only way that will take you forward in. And also the hidden jobs that people don't post online, they don't post on LinkedIn, they're just hidden, and if they get someone that they really like, they'll put them in. So
Yeah.
really, yes,
Yeah.
really know how to take advantage of networking and improve on that, and that will take you really far. So yes, that's
Thank you,
everything. Thank you
Michaela.
so
Thank
much for this
you.
opportunity, Bernie. Yeah, I'm really
Thank you.
grateful.
Thank you
And
for coming.
I hope it's been really useful to people.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good to know, guys. I hope you found this useful for those of you who are on the call. So thank you. I'm seeing a lot of what's it called, reactions, the book you used to improve your presentation skills. So Michaela said the book you used to improve your presentation skills. So most of the things Michaela said that she used, we gave to her in our
Yes.
package. So everything that she used, we literally have created it into a digital product that you can literally just get and use it for yourself. So all of those things are all on there. So thank you, Michaela. I will continue. Let me just find my slides.
Thank you
Okay,
so
I'm
much,
back.
Bernadette. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Michaela. We'll stay on the call. And so now we're talking about our masterclass. Like I mentioned earlier, that we have a 2-day masterclass coming up in March. The exact dates we have three people who are going to take you through that process. And some of the people who are coming are the people that have also thought kind of helped Michaela on her journey, and a couple of other people who we've helped over the years with their NHS applications. Okay, so we're going to have them on for you for 2 days. It will be 2 days. I think it's a Friday and Saturday. Honestly, I'm not 100% certain, but it's going to be 2 days and it will be recorded for you as well. for those people who are going to attend. So that's a 2-day masterclass coming up in March. Like I said, I think that I don't know if the team has the exact dates for that. They might just put that in the chat, or just wait. Once you show your interest, we'll let you know the exact date. And for just today alone, it's going for £25. We're selling, we know the value of what it is. I'm sure Michaela's face is probably going to drop like, are you joking? Like £25, Bernadette, you know? But yes, we are giving it at £25 because we want it, because the truth is, I'm sure I've already said to you, we're going to do how do you answer the tell me about yourself question? I'll come to that in a bit. That's also something that it's in that pack. How to answer your tell me about yourself. We give you a framework. It's all on there. And I'll tell you about that. That's different from the masterclass. So the masterclass is, imagine those of you who are NHS driven, who want a job with sponsorship, who want to work within the NHS. I know there are people who are very specific, which is why I brought Michaela. Michaela was very specific. She said to me, Bernadette, I know you're giving me advice, but you see this NHS, we die here. Who told me from the get-go, you know, so that's one of the things. If you're one of those people, the NHS masterclass, 2 days masterclass will be perfect for you. You come on there, you get those strategies. They will walk you through exactly how to fill those different sectors, different sections in the NHS application that actually makes you stand out. And in the last how many weeks or months, Michaela literally gets interviews every other day. Bernard, I just got another one. I just put in for that one. I wasn't even really interested. And then she's the one turning down interviews. And I have that happen with all of my other people who have gone through some sort of this masterclass, which we then put together for you. So that's that. 2 days. One thing I will say to you if you're on this call, and you might just say, you know what, NHS is not for me, but I know three of my friends who all they talk about is NHS, how they want to get into the NHS. What I need to do for you is say, if you want to attend this for free, pay for it, yeah? Have your receipt somewhere, but also just invite your friends. Invite your friends, 3 of your friends, and if you invite 3 of them, we'll reverse your money back to you. We'll send you back your £25 back, and you've invited 3 friends. So if you want to attend, you can potentially attend this for free if you invite 3 people, all right? So that's that. Another thing I was going to talk about earlier, it was the pack that has, do you already need to, no, you don't need to be working within the NHS. You don't have to be within the NHS to come for this. Another thing that Michaela touched on, some of the things, and I know some people have been asking questions about it, is the pack, the job search toolkit that we've prepared for you that has all of the things that you need to apply for jobs, your tell me about yourself, you have to prepare for interviews, interview specifications for marketing roles, for data analyst roles, for project manager roles, for PMO roles, for business analysis roles, or that job tracker she was talking about, interview prep documents, CV templates for UK, US, Canada. Everything is in there. How to maintain your LinkedIn, the checklist you need, your personal branding. Remember, I said to you, it's how you show up. So your personal branding is part of your tell me about yourself. You know, so all of those things are already in the job search strategy pack, and we keep updating that pack. So once you have access to it, you can download things that are all on there that you can use for yourself. So that's available to you today. It's worth more than £280, but we just pegged it at that. But we're giving it today for people on the call alone for £49. I'm going to take you down to where you can potentially get that job search toolkit and also register for the masterclass. So the masterclass is happening in March, from sometime in the middle of March, and it's going for £25. So if you're interested in any of the things that I've just said, my team members are already on the call. They'll probably be answering your messages privately, or answering as much as they can. So it's just scan your screen. So just scan your screen, scan the screen to showcase to apply for to pay for the job search toolkit, and then also scan to get your NHS master class registration. The class will start in March. So don't go and be saying, I paid, I haven't gotten this yet. So feel free to scan this right now. And if you have any more questions, I'll be answering the questions going forward. Have you found this helpful today, guys? Have you found this session helpful? I've even learned a few more things as well. So please let me know in the chat if you found this helpful. Yeah, I'm seeing yeses. Thank you, guys. you live in Spain and you're teaching assistant, and I'm not satisfied with myself in career. How can I improve? So, Opeyemi, I'll say the first thing you need to do is reach out, do your, what's it called? Get the toolkit. It will help you do a lot of things on there. It will help you to set yourself up. You can sort yourself up. Let me even be kind and say, you know what? I would say book a session with me. I'll have a conversation with you, okay? All right. So book a session and I'll have a conversation with you. So let's take it from there, all right, and see how we can help you. Okay, we do have I'm saying customers. We have clients in Spain, we have clients in different countries in America, Canada, all over Europe. And yeah, so we'll be very, very happy to help you. All right. I'm just trying to see if I've missed any questions in the time I was, not focusing on the questions. So I'm just going to have a look through the chat. So if you have any more questions, please just feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll answer them right now. But I'm expecting that you can be making payments for your job search, what's it called? The job search toolkit, which kind of just gives you everything you need, like going forward, that will just help you strategically position yourself in that market. Michaela used literally everything in that box to just get her job now. And then we now also have the opportunity for you to now meet the people that coached Michaela in the masterclass that's coming up in March. So just let me know if that's something you guys are interested in. Just use that. And I think my team is also putting in there the link. So some people will say, oh, I'm using my phone to actually watch this. If you check in the chat box, you will see the link there for you to just click and you can pay for any of those. Anybody finding this? Any other questions? Any other questions that I've missed? I think I saw a question earlier. Let me just go up and see if I can find that. Anybody wants to unmute themselves and say something, we're open to that. Somebody asked the question, do you already need to be working in the NHS to benefit from the masterclass? Absolutely not. There are people who we've worked with who have come into the NHS. Like they didn't have NHS before. They now started working within the NHS because they were specific. And that's what they wanted, because they wanted sponsorship. Yes, so you don't have to already be working in the NHS. How do you answer the tell me about yourself while networking or during job interviews? We'll give you key in the job search toolkit. It kind of gives you a breakdown of how to answer yourself. Tell me about yourself. The things that people want to hear about you, and the things that you wait and talk about at the end. Because, like I said, I always like you to think of the question and, because when if I introduce myself and how does it now relate to me? So if I'm talking with you, how are you beneficial to me? It's the most important thing in the conversation that you're having, okay? So we will teach you then, obviously, not teach you then because I'm not literally teaching, but we'll teach you that in the masterclass as well, how to, when you're telling people about yourself, how to showcase how you are relevant to that person, okay? Because that's all that's important at the end of the day. You are such a fantastic cook, and but I'm such a fantastic cook, and I've noticed that you are currently looking for somebody who has experience in mixing flour and sugar together. Because I've been such a fantastic cook and I've mixed flour and sugar together in the past, I know that it will be a skill that you will need in your company, because I've noticed that you've said it on there. Or I've looked at your GDP, or I've looked at what your records on that. I mean, I follow your social media, and I've noticed that you have mentioned that you are currently struggling with the right ratio of flour to sugar. And for that reason, because I have that skill set, I'm the best person for the role. So it's those sort of things that you will find on there. So yeah. So I'm happy this has been very impactful for people who are saying that. Thank you so much. I'm seeing so many direct messages, guys. Some of them are going up before I'm able to answer. So I'm just still trying to see if I've missed. I know I'd seen one earlier. Being able to. All right. Okay, so guys, yeah. So for me, let me see. XFL. If you want to work with me one-to-one, I run away from it. I'm running away from one-to-one right now, because right now I have quite a number of people working with me one-to-one. But yes, do book a call with me, book a call with the team. XFL, can somebody send them a link? You're welcome, Olabode. Can somebody send a link to XFL so they can work with me privately? Or sorry, just to get a call. Let's have a discovery call booked in, and we will speak about what you need. Okay, so and how we can. Sometimes it doesn't even have. You don't even have to work with me. I can just tell you, go and do this, go and do this, go and do this. I just want you to be successful, right? If I'm being honest with you, because the more of you that are successful, the better for all of us. Yeah. So I'm all the jobs. I cannot do all the jobs myself. Um, thank you so much, Daisy. So if I cannot do all the jobs myself, and I'm sure all the people that I'm working with, they cannot all do the jobs by themselves. So there's so many jobs out there, and the more of our people that are getting it, the better for all of us. Okay, so that's my aim. My aim is to get most of you into jobs that you're really happy with. Okay, so somebody will send you a direct message, XFL, or if you have our contact, just send a DM or something, and I would see how we can book a session in. All right. Any more questions? I can see some people have already started getting notifications that people are paying for the masterclass. Remember, if you want to get the masterclass for free, there's the opportunity. Invite 3 of your friends. Just show us proof that you invited 3 of your friends, and your 3 of your friends, they just show you the proof of their payment. We'll reverse your money back to you, and you keep your £25 and and you keep your £25 and you can still attend it as well. So yeah, so that option is there. Somebody's asking any CV review option. So yes, we can help you review your CV if that's what you want, but we equip you in the pack that has all of the CV templates for the different countries that I've mentioned, different regions. Okay, so you can use those CV templates in the pack and you will just be set up by yourself and you'll be fine. But if you also want us to then use our own professional eyes to do it, that's definitely something we do as well. So please feel free to contact the team and we'll be happy to help. All right. Anybody else? So send a message to admin. Oh, thank you. That's a good one. Send a message to admin@benghazieNgagements.com. So Benghazi Engagements, admin@BenghaziEngagements.com. I'm seeing a lot of you are booking in for the masterclass. Okay, so some of these people, are you guys going to get it for free? Because I'm really, really, really looking forward to that part of it. And the first person that gets it for free, in fact, I was going to ask a question, but I changed my mind. I was going to ask a question about you can't download. Femi will help you with that. Somebody just sent a message to me directly, guys, that says they cannot download or that they've paid. Which of them did you pay for, if you don't mind me asking, Femi? Is that for the digital or for the masterclass? If it's the masterclass, there's nothing to download. We'll just send you an email. But if it's for the job search toolkit, you will get an email in your inbox and it will give you a link to download. And you, like I said, we update that document so you have access to that folder where we actually keep updating things as things are moving, as the trends are moving. We're updating that. Okay. I hope that's helpful. But somebody will reach out to you. Okay, if you're still struggling with that, please just let us know. But trust me, we've tested it. Our IT team tested and tested and tested, so I am 100% certain it works. But they had to debit me at some point as well, so I know it works. So let's try. If you're still struggling with that, please send us a message and we will help you. All right. I need to run off. If we don't have any more questions, I'm happy to take them. Feel free to get in our DMs. We're very, very happy to help.
Yeah, Benny, just a question, please. Sorry, Benny.
Okay.
Yeah, do I need to get the NHS masterclass if I'm getting the job search toolkit?
They're 2 different things, 100%.
Okay.
They're 2 different things. So the masterclass is sitting down with somebody who will walk you through how to help yourself within the NHS, how to position yourself within the NHS, how to apply for jobs within the NHS, how to be the best fit, all the things that Michaela has been talking about, Joseph. But the toolkits are the things that we've used, that, for example, Michaela and all of our other students that we've had that's helped them position themselves. It's not even just for NHS. That pack can help you if you're going into corporate, any corporate organization, could be anywhere in the world. Like I said, we also have CV templates. And if you apply for NHS roles, you don't need a CV for NHS roles. My son is just about to walk in. So apologies in advance. So for the CV, I know you don't need a CV for NHS roles, but we do have those CV templates in there. So it's more the job search toolkit will help you in any way, shape, and form. All right, with any sort of roles that you need, but it's definitely different from the masterclass. The masterclass is specifically for NHS roles. I hope that helps.
Okay, yeah. I know you've done my CV before, my CV and my LinkedIn before.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm thinking, what's best for me now? Do I get the toolkit again, or do I go for the NHS masterclass?
I think you
I
should go if are you interested in the NHS?
I don't have any background in health. That's the challenge. So I don't know if
Okay, so maybe what you can do, Joseph, is getting on a call with us if you're looking for to maybe you need a strategy. Maybe you've not looked at a particular strategy that works for you, and we can potentially work on that with you. Okay.
okay, do I send an email to you? Message.
Yes, so I forgot to mention, somebody's asked a question that really made me think about the fact that I forgot to mention the fact that the masterclass for today is £25, but it goes back up. I think by Tuesday, is it Tuesday or Wednesday next week? Can somebody can the team just confirm to me if it's Tuesday or Wednesday next? Okay, no, they say Saturday next week. It converts. Oh, is it tomorrow? Oh, is it tomorrow? Oh my dear. Can we give them extension, please? Ngozi, can we extend it till next week, please? Please. My team, they're very strict on some things. Okay, so we'll leave it from next week. It goes to £50. By next week, Saturday, it will go to £50, exactly a week from now. And then going forward, it will be back to £100. Because, like I said, we know the value of what we're giving to you. So if you're not able to make payments between now and Saturday next week, it will still be by Saturday next week, it will still be at 50. But going forward, so it'll be at 25, but from Saturday next week, it will then become 50. And then from there, it will go back to the full price. But the
Okay, sorry.
price I hope that will help. Yeah. So you're saying, Joseph,
Yeah. I shared the message to. Is it a message to admin or to you?
yes, please send the message to admin. Don't send me a direct message.
Okay, thank you.
We're not sick. Yeah, so send a message to admin. We've put the message in the email address there, admin@bengaziengagements.com, please. Thank you. Anybody else with any questions? My phone is just buzzing because I'm seeing a lot of people are paying for that. And so yeah, so we will get in touch with you. We'll get in touch with you when we need to. Thank you, Sabato. I'm happy this has been insightful. Anybody else with anything they want to ask, any last minute questions that's bugging you that you want to ask, you can unmute yourself. There's already sound in the background. My son is back home. You can't seem to register. Thank you, Fumi. Thank you. You can't seem to register. Okay, Funke, can you let us know? Funke, can you let us know? Funke, can you send a direct message, please, can you send a message to us and we'll try and sort you out. We'll try and sort you out for that.
Sorry, you want me to send a message to who? To where?
To admin just say admin@bengaziengagements.com, or send us if you're on our Instagram or LinkedIn, just send us a direct message. Somebody will respond to you and walk you through.
Okay.
All right. For registration. All right. Okay, guys. In as much as I want to stay and talk for a lot longer, I gotta go. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Sorry, just so many private messages are coming in. I'm wondering if people are sending directly to me though. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Feel free to drop off if you need to. And I will see you at the masterclass, or I'll see you in our inbox. All right. Somebody's asking me, do I need to drop my contact for the engagement? So contact us and then they'll book a session with you. We'll book a discovery call. All right. We'll book a discovery call with you. You're most welcome. You're most welcome, guys. Thank you so much. I need to run right now. So thank you for attending. So see you soon. Bye.